This could be the day McLaren can clinch the Constructors' Championship, whether it's a 1-3 or at least a 1-2. But we're back after the summer break. It's Piastri on pole. It slides out. Away we go. And he's not wasting any time to already cover off Lewis Hamilton. But that's going to compromise Lewis Hamilton. And that's going to allow Lando Norris to swoop into the lead. Lando Norris now takes the lead. And it's a McLaren 1-2. And I think this is what McLaren have always been trying to do. Cover off the driver and let, Norris or Piastri get in the lead, or at least have a 1-2 for the team, and that is what they've done, and it has compromised Lewis Hamilton down to P4, Verstappen now P3, Charles Leclerc, or now Hamilton back up to P3, but it's compromised Charles Leclerc as he's down to P5, Antonelli runs 7th, then Tsunoda, Lawson, Albon, and George Russell completing your top 10 here in Singapore. But it's Norris that leads them from the championship leader of Oscar Piastri. But at the moment, Norris would regain the lead of the championship as things stand. If it stays this way, he would regain the lead. But if Piastri does take the lead, he would extend his championship lead to at least probably 12 or 13 points. And then Hamilton runs P3 as he's been able to close it on Max Verstappen for P3 in the Constructors' Championship. And Red Bull, at the moment, would fall to 3rd, and Ferrari, would take P2. Oh, contact there between Piastri and Hamilton. How many times have they made contact this year? So many times they've made contact this year. But now, with that contact, it's allowed Lando Norris to extend his lead in this race to 2.1 seconds now, as he is now trying to pull away from Oscar Piastri. But Piastri has been able to slowly clinch back in on his teammate of Lando Norris. Now just 2 laps to go remaining here in Singapore, as the championship, as it stands at the moment, would go to Lando Norris by at least 1 point. As things stand, if Piastri can pass him, Piastri extends his lead to at least 13 to 14 points. Meanwhile, George Russell has fallen to 12th. Antonelli still runs 6th. What has happened to George Russell on this occasion? Wow. But things stand, Ferrari was still P4, Mercedes still P3, and Red Bull would still stay P2 in the Constructors' Championship. But if things stand at the moment, McLaren could clinch the Constructors' Championship today. They just need to outscore Ferrari by at least 9. They need to outscore Ferrari by at least 8 points. They need to outscore Red Bull by at least 5 points. Mercedes by 12 and Ferrari by 14, and that's what they're doing at the moment. They're extending that lead and continue to at the moment extend those over their rivals of Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. So if they can do it, they will win the Constructors' Championship. But look at this, Oscar Piastri is now close back in on Lando Norris to try to make the pass. And meanwhile, Antonelli still runs P6, Colapinto 17th. But most importantly, Gasly runs last, so not the great day for Alpine, or for Sauber, or for Aston Martin. Meanwhile, Williams continue to back up the points to, extend their P5 in the Constructors by Aston Martin by at least now to 10 points, as things should stand at the moment. But now Oscar Piastri has closed in on teammate Lando Norris, then Hamilton, Verstappen, Leclerc, and Kimi Antonelli rounding out your top 6. Then completing your top 6 is going to be Tsunoda, Albon, Lawson, and Carlos Sainz, who's now moving to P10 after George Russell down to P12. And we would think, with Kimi being a rookie, he would be able to outperform or outqualify his teammate of George Russell, and he has. And what's crazy to think is that Antonelli is still ahead of George Russell in the championship. So I'm pretty sure that this was not supposed to be that Mercedes would work, that Kimi is a rookie and rookies would always struggle. But Antonelli has so far been impressive. And then now this could be a huge pressure George Russell going to him into next year, knowing that he doesn't have a contract for next year. And Kimi Antonelli is on the verge of being re-signed with Mercedes because he's been impressive. But we'll see. But coming around the final few more turns, and looks like Lando Norris would regain the lead in the championship, but we are going to celebrate this moment as they have done it. McLaren are going to become Constructors' Champions. Lando Norris regains the lead of the championship. Lando Norris wins the Singapore Grand Prix, and McLaren are Constructors' Champions. Hamilton 3rd. Now, as we go into the home races for, teams and drivers, Lando Norris now takes the championship lead by 1 point over Oscar Piastri and McLaren, the reigning Constructors Champions, or the 2025 now Constructors Champions, as they would outperform Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari. And at the moment, Norris takes the lead by 1 point, and McLaren extend the lead, are Constructors Champions, as Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari are still 2, 3, 4. Williams extend their lead to P over Aston Martin, and we'll see you in Great Britain for the British Grand Prix.